charges against two women who investigators say gained access to a dead man's Cash App by cutting off his finger.
Investigators tell us Audrey Miller and Tiffany Taylor Gray viciously attacked the man inside his Northwest D.C. apartment back in April, then cut off the man's thumb, stole his phone, and cleaned up the crime scene. News 4's Paul Wagner walks us through this disturbing case.
In a 49-page affidavit filed in D.C. Superior Court, investigators laid out a gruesome and diabolical scheme. The woman on the left, listed as suspect number 1, police say, is 19-year-old Audrey Miller. The woman on the right, listed as suspect number 2, is 22-year-old Tiffany Taylor Gray. According to the court affidavit, Gray and the victim, Fazil Teklemariam, knew each other. The affidavit says one witness told police the 53-year-old was her sugar daddy. In these two photos, police say suspect number 1, Audrey Miller, and Teklemariam are seen together entering his apartment on April 1st. D.C. police believe Fazil Teklemariam had been dead inside his third-floor apartment here on Peabody Street Northwest for about 4 days before his body was discovered. According to a court affidavit filed in the case, he had suffered blunt force trauma to the head, he'd been stabbed, and his right thumb had been cut off. A witness told police that the thumb was used to gain access to a Cash App and to buy liquor and drugs. Included in the court affidavit, investigators attached numerous photos from surveillance cameras mounted outside 2 entrances to the building, as well as the foyer and the hallway leading to the victim's apartment. Police say 2 men, one they have identified but not charged, were seen with the 2 women coming and going from the building over several days. Investigators say the suspects used the victim's key fob to get into the building and were seen carrying items out of the apartment. There was also evidence suggesting cleaning agents had been used to conceal or eliminate evidence. Police say they got a couple of breaks in the case. Last year, Teklemariam filed a complaint with D.C. police claiming suspect number 2, Tiffany Taylor Gray, had taken his phone and used it to steal $1,800 from his Cash App. Break number 2 came when investigators learned Teklemariam's cell phone last pinged from a tower in College Park, not far from where Gray rented an apartment. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation says the claim Teklemariam was Gray's sugar daddy has so far not been verified. Investigators believe the victim's severed thumb was used to access his phone. To date, investigators have not found the victim's thumb or the electronics stolen from his home. Audrey Miller is locked up in the D.C. jail and is waiting a preliminary hearing. Gray is in custody in Prince George's County, where she was arrested last week. In the district, Paul Wagner, News 4.
News 4 has so far been unable to reach any of the victims' family.
There's probably one other job that you're about to get into that is really hard and really scary. You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together.
Pops.
About to be a pops.
Shut
the fuck up.
Please tell me how exciting that is for you and what you're looking forward to most.
I'm super excited. I guess I'll just drop it. He's here. So he's here. Yes. 7'8", 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Yeah, that's my man.
I love that.
He is amazing. They say, as soon as you see him, it just, like, everything that you thought mattered just goes out the window. Mm-hmm. And that's literally what happens.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
I already knew I had him because there was simply no competition out there for me. But let's just look at it objectively. You had this average Black American guy who now was able to choose between what he was dealing with before and somebody completely new. And let me tell you, the moment I stepped into that man's life, he really didn't know how to deal with my femininity, because I was not loud. I was not screaming. I was not trying to, be louder than him. I didn't interrupt him, because that's not something that I learned from home. If somebody would speak, and especially a man, you would let that man speak, and then you would listen and then say whatever you have to say, right? So I was clean. I cooked. He didn't know what it was when a woman is actually in the room asking him, like, do you want something to drink? Before I got myself something to drink. Do you want something to eat? Before I started to eat my food, I would ask him, do you want to have a bite? I would come out of nowhere and just have a fruit bowl and just offer him some fruit. He didn't know none of this. So my husband, back then boyfriend, really thought this was a dream come true. He didn't know how to deal with none of this, because all this me coming through, just being nurturing by nature, his peoples and his family didn't even do that for him. Like the family, there is no family unit. The average family, especially Black American family, has barely a family unit. There is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner at set times. And these are things that I introduced my husband to with my family. Can you imagine that impact that I had on him back then? So gentlemen, do not be afraid of traveling. There are so many more women out there who are willing to take care of you. It doesn't matter if they're young. It doesn't matter if they're older. They are willing to take care of you, willing to work with you, willing to be a part of your life. You don't have to deal with whatever you are dealing with back in your hometown, because unfortunately, a lot of American women are lost in the delusional world that they are living in, and they don't even understand that they are going to be lonely for a long time, if not for the rest of their life. They say by choice, but I don't believe them.
This will be everlasting love. This will be the one I've waited for. This will be the first time anyone has loved me. Oh, I'm so glad you found me in time, and I'm so.
Tell this motherfucker down.
All right, so it's official. All right, somebody gotta let Keisha and Eva know. All right, Aunt Becky, or Becky with the good hair. All right, she's officially took your man. All right, you know what I'm saying? She's took your man. All right, not that he was ever yours to begin with, but you know what I'm saying. The men of your nation. All right, Jake like to play in the snow now. All right, and then by the looks of it, all right, they didn't learn how to do Eva dances. So man, it's looking bad for you, so-called black woman. All right, Lamentations 4, starting at verse 1. It reads, how is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter? All right. So, you know what I'm saying? Earthen pitchers, that's like, even in our lower state, these women, all right, they see, Jake, starting with the so-called Negro man, because Judah got to be raised up first. They starting to see, all right, how truly desirable those men truly are, all right, and it's really the elect, but right now, even these 2/3 Jakes, they can get at some of these women, but it's just the mindset that the woman is starting to have toward the Jake man, all right, and that goes for the Native American Jake and the Hispanic/Latino Jakes also. It's just Judah got to be raised up first, all right. So you seen the clips, all right. I showed them to you, all right, showing you how least desirable the so-called black woman has become and how much more desirable the black man has become, all right, so-called black, all right, I'm just speaking those terminologies because that's the way the world views it, all right, but we're not black, you know what I'm saying, different shades of brown, all right, so let me get a scripture right quick. Let me go to Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12, all right, it reads, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And again, that man that is speaking of is the Israelite elect man. All right. In the times that we're coming into, known as Jacob's trouble. All right. All hell breaks loose. All right. This place turns into a lawless society. All right. It's only going to be one man shining in that time. All right. And that's the elect Israelite man. All right. And he's going to be who these women are going to be seeking after, all right? Because a lot of these men over here, they're going to get put down in the famines and the seditions of men and the wars and all of that. A lot of these men over here are going to die, all right? So that's going to leave an extreme shortage of men out here, all right? So let me read. I'm going to get that scripture too right fast because I read that in a different translation the other day. 1 second. All right, let me see. Y'all forgive me. This shit started moving slow. It's raining. So it's kind of jacking up my connection. Okay, I'm going to go down to the GNV and read this. All right. It's right here. Well, I'm going to start up. I'm going to read the EXB first. All right, it reads, at that time, in that day, 7 women will grab 1 man. War will have decimated the male population. All right, so that's what's going to, bring this prophecy on the play. A lot of these men going to get drafted. All right, they're going to die in the seditions. They're going to die in the famines. They're going to die in the class wars and race wars, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be a whole lot of men out here, right? So it says, at that time, 7 women will grab 1 man. War will have decimated the male population. And say we will eat our own bread and make our own clothes, things a husband would normally provide. But please marry us. Let us be called by your name. Please take away our shame from having no husband or children. All right. Read the next one. The small remnant of men after the destruction of Jerusalem. All right. And that small remnant of men is the elect man. All right. It say the graces of God upon them that remain. All right. Let me see. In that day shall 7 women take hold of 1 man, saying, we'll eat our own bread and wear our own garments. Only let us be called by thy name and take away our reproach. Okay. So that's what it's going to come down to in the days that we coming into. All right. If you ain't got an elect Israelite man, you ain't getting out of here ultimately, because that's the woman's ticket on the ship. All right. And a lot of these women in today's time, you see how they living. All right. They want to call themselves pops and shit. All right. Brandon Griner. All right. Whose real identity is Brittany Griner, but she wants to be Brandon Griner. All right. It's talking about she wants to be a pops to a son. All right. How the hell does that work? All right. This individual is in the WNBA. All right. Women's basketball, what is it, whatever that shit stands for, Women's Basketball Association, whatever it is. All right, she's there, but she's saying she wants to be a pops. What the fuck? You know how destroyed that child would be if it had to grow up under those circumstances. All right, going to school, getting ridiculed. Your what they gonna tell that nigga? Your dad plays in the NBA, and his name is Brittany. All right, that nigga gonna probably take the coward's way out. You know what I'm saying? Because he gonna catch so much shit behind, the actions that, his biological mother, all right, and Brandon have put on him. All right, just fucking madness. That's why that old saying goes, the most unsafe place for quote unquote black children, all right, Israelite children, is in the so-called black woman's womb, all right, and even outside of her womb, all right, because these women are murderers, all right, and they destroy the way of the righteous, all right. The scripture tell you, get not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings, all right. But in this setup, gotta live that out, Eva and Esau and their wicked imaginations. All right. One second. Okay, so I jump back to this Isaiah 13 and 12. All right, again, this is going to be the elect man right here. And it's also right here in Isaiah 32 and verse 2. It say, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Okay, because when all hell is breaking loose out here, you know, Brandon ain't gonna want to be Brandon in that day. Brandon gonna want to be Brittany. All right, Brittany gonna want to put a dress on in that day. All right, she done already cut her titties off. All right, but you know, these women, judgment got to come their way. All right, and we're praying, you know, that it comes soon. All right. I also showed you the clip of these two Eves who got down on another Jake man, all right, who was supposedly, and she labeled him to be her sugar daddy and shit. You know, they killed the Jake, all right, then cut his finger off to use it to open his phone and, you know, get all the shit, access to all the shit he had fingerprint authenticated. All right, stealing money out of his accounts and shit, you know. That's what Eve does. All right, and that's why, you know, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone have always said, if it be all possible, you know, stay the fuck away from Eve, the so-called black woman. All right, don't deal with her. All right, because she ain't gonna do nothing but give you a lot of heartache and a lot of pain. All right, gonna destroy your everything you got going. Okay. I showed you the list also with you know, the 10 reasons. Was it 10 reasons why, you know, the so-called black woman's marriage rates are so low? All right, and which one of those on that list could be disputed? All right, none of them, because they're all actual factuals. All right, it's the truth of the matter. Okay, let me pull that up right quick. Hold on, y'all. All right, here you go. All right, when you read this list, what lies being told? All right, number one on the list, nasty attitudes and what's that, disposition. All right, that's a number one fact. That should be number one on the list. Number two, uncooperative. What's that? Uncooperative and can't follow leadership. Exactly, unless it's Esau. All right, she'll follow the so-called white man. All right, Eve will get down with the white man. She'll get down with his program. All right, she'll get her voice in order. All right, you know, she'll do all that shit. It was a video that was going around. I think it was last week. All right, Eve was, you know what I'm saying, fucking Esau for rent. All right, then the bitch want to all of a sudden say she got a conscience. She don't want to do it no more. All right, bitch, you already did it multiple times before then. Now you don't want to do it. All right, but anyway, you know, that's what you're going to get. Let me see. Number three, too masculine while lacking femininity. All right, you just seen Brandon. All right. Verse 4, she became a baby mama first. All right, that's a big one. All right. You see verse 5, disproportionately obese. All right, them big mountains. All right, Big Eva, Big Keisha, Big Shirley, as Apostle Rakai referred to him as Big Shirley. All right, verse 6, overall poor ethnic image. All right, that's Brandon, you know. Verse 7, too many embrace 304 culture. All right, they hoes, they thoughts. Let me see, verse 8, can't take constructive criticism. All right, that's, man, can't tell these hoes shit, you know. Verse 9, allegiance to the sisterhood. All right, only when it's for their benefit, because the scripture tell you the majority of these bitches are jealous over other women. All right, if it was a man dealing with both women, these bitches could not know each other at all, never have met each other at all. All right, but the man, because he's dealing with both of them, they're gonna find a reason to hate each other. All right, you know, they're jealousy. All right. But then they'll say they got allegiance to the sisterhood. Allegiance to the sisterhood is when one of them is being a whore, the other one to cover up for him, make excuses for him and shit. You know how that go. All right, verse 10. And last but not least, all right, maybe this should be number one. All right, lack of respect for the black man. All right, and we ain't black again. That's Israelite. All right, the Israelite woman's lack of respect for the Israelite man. All right, going back to the curses in Deuteronomy 28. All right, when it says her eyes shall be evil toward her husband, you know, and toward her son and daughter, you know, it's a huge curse, and our women embody it. That's how we know we the Israelites. Okay, 1 second, y'all. Let me go back to the scriptures. Okay, let me go there. Let me read that Deuteronomy 28. I quoted it. I'm finna read it right quick. Deuteronomy 28 what is it, 57 or 56? All right, 56. It say the tender and delicate woman among you, she ain't tender and delicate no more. All right, she's a damn harlot out here now. All right, they say the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, all right, the men of her nation, and toward her son and toward her daughter. You know what I mean? And that's what you get with these women, all right? That's why they out here getting pregnant, all right, test tube babies, all right, and claiming studs to be the baby's daddy, all right? Britney's that baby's daddy. What the fuck, man? That's why we need Yahweh Shai to, come set this place in order. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. We need Yahweh to send Yahweh Shai back to destroy this place, all right? And the philosophies and ways of life that this place brings, all right? Scriptures told us our body was gonna be in spiritual Sodom and Egypt, and look at these women, all right? They're fucking into that lifestyle more than the men for the most part, all right? This is a freaky ass land over here with freaky ass people, all right? Freaky ass niggas, all right? 69 gods, all right? And they gotta die. The Lord gonna get rid of these wretched, undesirable, wicked 2/3, all right? Abominable 2/3, all right? So let me see, is anything else? I'm gonna read that Amos 7 and 17. Then I'll close it. But yeah, I showed you the clips with the so-called white woman, all right, and her affinity to Jake, all right, her love for Jake now. All right, I showed you the Louisiana white women, how they can pretty much do everything the so-called black woman can do, all right, and actually look better doing it. I mean, they ain't better dancers than Eve. Eve is still Eve, but it just looked nasty when Eve do it. All right, whatever. It's Amos 7 and 17. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, thy wife, Israelite woman, shall be a harlot, a whore, in the city, and thy sons and daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land. All right, we living out this prophecy every single day. All right, our women are the biggest whores in the city. All right, our sons and daughters get gunned down the most. All right, we overpopulate the prisons more than any other nation. All right, we ain't been back to our homeland as a nation since we came over here on them slave ships. All right, and what's the other one? I'm gonna die in a polluted land. All right, throughout the four corners of the earth, but especially over here in Babylon the Great. All right, who get used and abused the most in these streets? All right, you wicked Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. And that's because 2/3 of you are slated to die in this land any fucking way. All right, the Lord is only coming back for his elect, that small remnant who's going to escape these oncoming judgments. All right, through the spirit and power and the mercy of Yahweh Shai Shai. All right, and obtain salvation. All right, and do what it was the Lord had preordained for them to do before the foundation of the earth, which is inherit the kingdom of heaven. All right. So again, we coming into that daily season of Jacob's trouble. These niggas still out here woofing. They still out here playing. All right, so let them do what they do. We gonna do what we do. All right, keep the charge, keep the faith, and keep the fear. Yahweh Shai Shai. All right, and let everything play itself out. All right. So that's pretty much it for the lesson. All right, it wasn't nothing too deep. All right, I just had some clips. All right, and just got off of work and I wanted to put a lesson up. So the spirit was hot. So when the spirit is burning, all right, you gotta throw your log in that fire. So I'm going to close it out with that. All honor, glory, and praise go to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruah Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach in the course where I learned this truth. Peace and salutations to the Lord's select, Kwam Yasharala, and Wa Baba Ball. Shalom.